Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk to you guys about The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. Now I know I am late to the bandwagon. I know lots and lots of people have spoken about this already. I hadn't actually initially intended to make a book review for this one. I picked it up on a whim, just going, this will be a nice fun read. Oh my god. I mean, I was right, this was a fun read. Um, but yeah, I then got to page 2 and went, I need to make a vlog about this and all the bad science. And then I think I got to about page 30 and was like, oh heck, this is so cute. Oh guys, this is so cute. And then I got halfway through the book and I didn't vlog anymore. Because actually, beyond that first couple of pages, there wasn't really a huge amount of science in it. In fact, there was no science in it. There was sort of like some chatter about writing papers and like what she's studying, but you don't actually see any bench work or read about any bench work, which I'm not gonna lie, as a scientist, I'm very grateful for that because the first couple of pages, oh my gosh, oh, I cringed. They were difficult. They were difficult. And then yeah, I read this in 2 sittings. Didn't vlog at all because as I'm learning, I'm really bad at vlogging, and I'm just when I really get into a book, I just sit and read and read and read, and then get to the end and went, oh yeah, I was supposed to check in halfway through. Yeah, that didn't quite happen, did it? But yeah. I know lots and lots of people out there already have content about this book, so I doubt I'm going to say anything new, but I really enjoyed it, so I want to tell you what I enjoyed about it. So let's begin with, I don't want to say begin with the negatives, but let's begin with what didn't necessarily, let's begin with the non-pros. This is not the most realistic story. I've not been in academia. I'm not in academia. I have my honours degree and I work in science, but I don't have a postgrad or anything like that. I didn't study beyond my honours degree, so I don't know entirely what it's like, but I have a slight understanding. This type of relationship just wouldn't happen. It's not realistic. Like, if you go into this book expecting like a serious, I don't want to say realistic again, but I'm gonna say it, a serious realistic relationship, it's not gonna work. It's not going to win any prizes for the writing. The author does tend to reuse descriptions. Like, she really wants you to know that Adam is big. He's tall, he's big, he's just big. Yeah, it's, I mean, I would even go so far as to say that at times, plot-wise, mildly problematic. Like, it's not terrible. I've read a lot worse in terms of problematic, but it's, yeah, come on, like, just this wouldn't happen. And this is just kind of wrong, but you know what? That's not what you read this book for. You read this book for the fluff and for the silliness. And you know it's not realistic. Saying that word again. I need a new word, guys. But you like it anyway, right? You're not going into this expecting, you're not going into this for a message or for morale or for a moral or, anything deep. There's nothing deep about this book. I don't know if it counts as a pro or a con. It did start off life as Reylo fanfic, which I think is Rey and Kylo Ren from Star Wars. I feel like the cover does look a bit like the characters. It definitely was giving me Adam Driver. The male was giving me Adam Driver vibes. When I was reading it, I didn't find out it was Reylo fanfic initially until after I'd read it. So I will say it doesn't read like fanfic, or at least it doesn't read like it started off life as something else. It very much, sorry, I'm playing with my hair. I got it cut this evening. It's I've lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Yeah, it doesn't read like it started off life as something else. It reads as if it's its own thing. They are their own characters. I mean, admittedly, I'm not massively familiar with the Star Wars universe. I watched that latest trilogy when it came out, but beyond that, I mean, they're not. I mean, if they're on TV, I would watch them, but they're not some like Star Wars is not something I seek out. Um, so I don't know. Anyone more familiar with the Star Wars universe might see a lot more similarities, but I kind of went into this blind, so I wasn't looking for anything, so I didn't see anything. Um, but yeah, overall, guys, this is just the cutest, fluffiest, amazing book ever. It is super tropey. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it is super tropey. We have the fake dating trope, we've got the grumpy sunshine trope. I'm now drawing up blanks, but there are so many tropes. um, and it's just, despite all of that, like, there's so much about this book that you kind of expect it to be terrible. And at the best, like, so terrible it's good, but I wouldn't say that. I just genuinely really liked this book. I actually fell in love with this book. It was so cute. It was so fluffy. I loved the characters. And yeah, I made a small list of like my main thoughts around this that I'll just tell you about now. Um, so the first one, now this was the first reason I initially wanted to vlog this, and that was bad science. Like I said, I'm very grateful that there wasn't nearly as much bad science in it, because in the first couple of pages I was in hysterics. I found it hilarious that seriously this is what, like, oh, I can't even, guys. I actually sent photos of a couple of the lines to some friends and that I work with, being like, guys, this book is going to be hilarious. I mean, it was like quite a humorous book at times, but for very different reasons. But yeah, there's one, I think it's on page two, where she's gone into a bathroom to take her contacts out. And it looks like she's crying because obviously her eyes are watering. And Adam, we don't know it's Adam at the time, has come in and he's like, why are you in here? We don't actually use this as a bathroom. I just came to pour reagents down the drain. And my brain just went, I'm sorry, what? What? We're pouring reagents down a drain? Oh gods. Oh gods. Now, this is a microbiology lab. You don't just pour reagents down a drain. A bathroom drain? Oh, come on. That's just, like, if anyone out there watching this, if you do work in academia, particularly within like a university lab setting, does this happen? Because if so, that is terrifying. I mean, 9 times out of 10, if you're working with microbiology, any reagents you're using, they're not going to be that great. They're either going to be really, really tiny quantities, like a drop onto a petri dish or something that you can then just pop in a clinical waste bag. Clinical waste, specialist uplift. It's very rare you're going to be working with them in such huge quantities that you could pour them down a drain. And if you are going to pour them down a drain, one, make sure they're safe to pour down that drain. And two, do it in a fume hood. Because so many reagents will actually react with water and give up fumes. I think I'm mostly taking umbrage at the pouring it down a bathroom drain. Even if that bathroom is not used, like, every lab will have a sink, regardless of what type of lab it is. They will have a sink. Pour it down that sink. At the very least, And then there's a line where she is talking about her contacts that she's taking out, and they're like months out of date. And she's like, oh yes, expiry dates are for the week. You work in science. Expiry dates are not for the week. Expiry dates are for the unaccredited. Expiry dates are for this doesn't matter, no one will ever see this. Expired items, like, oh my god, like, as soon as something is expired, we immediately chuck it. You don't use expired anything if you can help it. It's just such a weird attitude to take, I think. I mean, I'll ignore expiry dates with my food, because that's food and expiry dates are more guidelines, and, just be sensible, like, smell it, I mean, meat is a different, but be sensible about that. But when it comes to, I don't know, things like, I mean, I don't wear contact lenses, so I don't know, but in science, expiry dates are important. So yeah, these were my thoughts on expiry date, on the science, and thankfully we didn't really see much more in terms of the lab. Um, a lot of the more interactions when they were happening in the building or in the university were more in like the break areas, the break rooms and things. So yeah, this could have been a very very different book and a very different review if this had continued. Um, yeah. What else? I don't want to make this spoilery, so I'm gonna be careful about how I do this. But yeah, I'm trying to think what else I've written. This was going to be such a coherent book review, and now it's all gone. It's all gone. But yeah, proper prose about this book is that the characters were brilliant. I don't want to say I immediately connected with the characters, but I immediately liked the characters. They were really likable. And not just the main characters, but the friends as well. The supporting characters. They all felt like different characters. And she took... I don't want to say like she took her time with them, because she very much like, I love the way the story just kind of, it basically just, it starts and it just goes. It goes from the get-go. But I love the portrayal of different relationships and different friendships. Um, she, the author, I have to say, has excellent demisexual representation. So this is a fake dating trope that obviously develops into something else, into we wish we were real dating. So communication is less than ideal at times. However, during the sex scene, and there was only one of them, there was only one sex scene, which, I don't know, author went for quality rather than quantity, because I really enjoyed that sex scene. But whilst communication within their relationship at times could be patchy, sometimes it was brilliant, and other times you were like, guys, just stop and talk to each other, please. The communication during the sex was brilliant. There was actual communication. At one point, he nearly stopped. He was like, whoa, we can't do this, because like, I mean, I got a little annoyed at one point. He practically he told her, it's like, God, you're practically a virgin. It's been so long since you've done anything. And she's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I mean, that's really judgy, right? You don't call someone practically a virgin just because it's been years since they've had any. That's a choice she made. But at that point, she does then stop and explain to him, it's like sex is not the be all and end all for her, and she doesn't really feel attraction until she gets to know someone and she gets to trust someone. We're never outright told that she's demisexual, but just that explanation, I love that, because we're not all sex fiends, we don't all want to jump straight into bed with someone. I personally really don't at all. So to have a character like this who has gone years, especially at one point she explains that, yeah, I had sex in college because I just wanted to see what it was like. It wasn't that she felt attraction or she felt this great need. She just wanted to see what it was like, and she was like, it was all right. I'm like, I love that representation, and that's, do you know what? A relationship doesn't need to be sex in a relationship is not everything. And it was just so, so well done, and it just felt so natural, at least for me, as I was plowing through this book, breakneck speeds. It just felt really lovely and natural for me. Yeah. Another bit I really liked about this book is that there was a bit of a... Do you guys remember the scene in Little Women where Richard Gere's friend hits on Julia Roberts? And almost assaults her, like tries to assault her? And then Richard Gere comes in and saves the day and punches him and blah. There was almost a moment like that where Adam's friend is hitting on her, um, and basically accusing her of trying to sleep her way to being published and getting her grades and everything, sleeping with the professor, blah 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 blah. And what I loved is that instead of Adam or Richard Gere or whoever coming in and saving the day, she saved herself, and she did it in such a brilliant way. It was brilliant. I loved it. It's just like, you don't have to wait for your knight in shining armor. He can be there eventually, you know. But yeah, I loved. There was a really nice balance between romance and independence. It was lovely. Yeah, overall, this book was just. I need to stop saying overall as well. But yeah, this book was just so fluffy. I absolutely adored the characters. I fell in love with Adam. Adam is very snarky at times. His sense of humor is just. I'm not sure it's a sense of humor that would hit with everybody, but it just hit perfectly with me because I think it's a kind of sense. It's a sense of humor that I can really appreciate. It's a little dry. It's a little like. It's a lot sarcastic. um it's a kind of humor where he'll say something and you're not entirely sure. Would you mean that? Are you joking? Are you not? Oh, you're joking. Okay, it's fine. Which I don't know. It worked really well for me. I did like how their relationship progressed. I mean, this book, it was predictable. I will give you that. I had meant this review to be like, let's get the negatives all out of the way and then all of the positives, and I seem to be jumping back and forth because, hey, y'all know my brain by this point, right? I'm not coherent. But yeah, no, there are times, a lot of times where this book was predictable. There was nothing necessarily new about it. There was nothing unique. There was never a point where I was like, oh yeah, oh wow, did not see that coming. A lot of the time something would happen and I'd be like, yeah, I could see that was coming. So I don't want to go so far as to say it was formulaic. But yeah, it wasn't. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say it wasn't original either. It was somewhere in between. But despite that, the story gripped me. I was hooked. By the time I was 30 pages into it, I was like, yeah, that's it. I've lost my night. I'm staying up till God knows what time. Yeah, and yeah, like I say, I read this. This took me 2 evenings. I think I started it on a Friday night. I started it on the Friday night and was up reading till about 1 o'clock in the morning. Excuse me. Then went down to Perth to visit with some friends, came back that evening and spent the rest of all Saturday evening reading this one book. It was just so lovely. Yeah, I really enjoyed this book, guys. I feel like I've had a bit more negative to say about it, than positive. But yeah, I think at this point, it doesn't matter how many negatives there are, and if I were to think about this book objectively and be like, okay, did this work? Did that work? Think about the pros. Think about the characters. Think about the plot. It would fall down, but the overall feel of the book and just like I was smiling most of this book. You get 30 pages and you're like, oh god, oh heck, this is so cute, and you just keep smiling because this is just such a light-hearted, warm, fun read. So if there's anyone out there who has not yet read this book and you have miraculously made it to the end of this video, if you are looking for an easy, light-hearted, fun romp of a read and you don't mind it being tropey as hell, this is a really good book, and I can understand why there's a lot of hype about it. So yeah, I'm going to end this there. It's gone on, once again, longer than I expected, and once again, not as coherent as I would have liked. Just by saying, I gave this 5 stars. I freaking loved this. It is a book I will reread. I am contemplating pre-ordering. She's got a couple of books coming out in 2022 that I am contemplating pre-ordering. And by the sounds of it, they're all going to be sort of set in a sort of like semi-academia setting, which really appeals to me. And yeah, it's just a really good book, guys. Anyway, if you have made it this far, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope it's kind of made sense. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!